I missed the final boss and the entire DLC on my first playthrough. I'm not gonna lie, there is even more and I'm not proud of it. Whole NPC storylines, bosses locked behind walls, entire areas hidden behind keys. Yeah, somehow I skipped that too. So today let's go through the 10 most incredible things I completely overlooked in my first run of Bloodborne, starting with the one mistake that doomed pretty much every NPC in Yharnam. I don't have trust issues, but people told me it is good to have them in FromSoft games. So when the Chapel Dweller giggles after asking me to send survivors to Odin Chapel, my brain goes, not so sure about that. So I don't send anyone. I chat with a grandma once and never return, talked to Ariana only prior to fighting Emilia, and I don't have the church set for Adela yet. And the grumpy guy just stays grumpy. Forever. By the time it clicks, I'm staring down the final boss with 0 people rescued and a very empty chapel. The worst part isn't the loot or missed rewards, it's the stories I cut off. The way Ariana's arc complicates the healing church myth, Adela's jealousy, that uneasy question who deserves safety in Yharnam. First run lesson, paranoia protects you in combat, it starves you in quests. My first summon was Old Hunter Henriette. I was thrilled. Then the game crashed, and I assumed summons can't enter boss arenas. So she once escorted me to the cathedral like polite security, and that's it. I also missed early helpers like Alfred or Gascoigne, because it didn't grasp the concept of the conditions, like insight, talking to people at the right time, the boss still being alive, that sort of thing. Ironically, I beat Bloodstarved Beast solo first try, then struggled with help later. What I love in hindsight is how Bloodborne makes co-op situational rather than a crutch. If you know, you know. If you don't, the game shrugs and lets you learn the hard way. Second run takeaway? Sometimes the real easy mode is just knowledge. Old Yharnam humbled me. I'm admiring the atmosphere of burning Yharnam, and Djura turns me into Swiss cheese from a rooftop. I make an exception and look him up online and discover you can befriend him if you approach after Dark Beast Paarl and come from the back route without butchering any beasts. However, I didn't know. So I try the don't kill anything and sprint up plan, wave like a friendly tourist, and he deletes me anyway. Only in my second playthrough do I sneak up correctly, talk it out, and the rain of bullets stops. Old Yharnam transforms from a gauntlet into a story moment about restraint. We became besties, or beasties, I regret nothing. The side note I love, Bloodborne occasionally rewards mercy in a game that teaches aggression, and that little contradiction sticks with you. I missed a boss. Not a shiny chest, an actual great one, tucked behind a quiet path at the top of the cathedral. Most games hide collectibles, Bloodborne hides cosmic entities and asks, did you earn the right even to see this? I also like that this is the only single time you need to break glass to find a path to her. Which some might miss, but not for me, I figured out the first time. However, it was on my second playthrough. Because I never found the key. I skipped an entire wing of the healing church, brainsuckers, celestial horrors, and the lore that turns miracle blood into cosmic contamination. No Upper Cathedral meant no context for what the church is actually worshipping, and I missed a subtle gesture you can later use down in Mensis. It's one of those whole area equals gone moments that makes your first run feel suddenly smaller than you thought. At first, I thought Iosefka was the guy in the opening cutscene. Then I learned you can meet the real Iosefka early for better vials, and she's even a bit flirty, and that later she's replaced by an imposter, quietly experimenting on people you might have saved. You confront her or wait until things get very eldritch for a third umbilical cord. Missing this arc isn't just missing loot, it's missing Bloodborne's moral punchline. Kindness without understanding can still feed the machine. My first run breezed past all of that, which is why the clinic hit twice as hard on the revisit. I didn't miss Alfred or Cainhurst. Cainhurst almost did. I beat Logarius, put on a crown of illusions and thought, this has to do something. It does, if you're standing close enough to the throne for the reveal. I wasn't. So, no cutscene, no Annalise, and no brutal conclusion to Alfred's zealotry. It's such a perfectly Souls-like failure, not ignorance, I hope. In precision, I had the right idea, but it didn't quite work out. The tiny distance cost me a whole faction arc, and one of the most chilling faith taken to extremes endings in the game. Meeting Eileen felt like finally finding a hunter who didn't want me dead. Later, I catch her fighting Henrik at the Tomb of Odin, panic and misplay it. Eileen dies. What? No bloody crow of Cainhurst, no farewell, just that hollow could I reload itch. But Bloodborne doesn't do that, it hands you consequences. On replay, her arc hits like a thesis, the hunt eats its own, and mercy has a cost. First run, I missed all of that, because I couldn't keep her alive for 10 seconds. And that really pissed me off, to be honest. I beat German, rolled credits, went what the fuck happened, and later learned I'd missed the final boss. I didn't consume any umbilical cords because I'm vegan, so the moon presence just hugged me into the loop. The ending you get is wild, hello Metamorphosis, but realizing there was a higher ceiling I never touched, that annoyed me. I love that Bloodborne hides its canon fight behind preparation and defiance. Gather your pieces, say no, and only then you get to see what a dream was really feeding. Honorable mentions. Cainhurst Castle, almost missed it, many do. The Snow, The Invitation, The Bloodline, all peak gothic. Again, almost, because it didn't get close enough to the obelisk the first time, or whatever it is, but it worked out in the end. Dark Beast Paarl, apparently some people also have missed. I didn't, but I did miss that you can use its backway path to Djura. Then, The Suspicious Beggar. Looks harmless until he isn't. Send him to the wrong place and you learn what bad outcome really means. I think I sent him to the fake Iosefka for experimentation by accident, so I never found out either way. The Old Hunters DLC. I missed the entire DLC. I got grabbed by an amygdala, died, and wrote it off as Cathedral Ward nonsense, so I skipped Ludwig's amazing battle soundtrack, my favorite duel in the whole game with Lady Maria, and the final exam that is the Orphan of course, plus weapons, Lawrence, etc. When I finally played it, it felt like a second game actually, hidden inside the first. Same mechanics, sharper teeth. And it changed how I read the whole world. Less beast plague, more failed ascension. Missing it on my first run wasn't just content lost, it was context. And that's Bloodborne in a nutshell. It hides some of its best content in plain sight, and if you're not curious, you'll miss it completely. The thing I missed the hardest? Obviously the Old Hunters DLC. When I finally played it, it felt like discovering a whole second game, like I said. So if you want to see why, I made a full video about my DLC playthrough you can check out right here. But that's all for now, I see you guys in the next one.
Oh, you don't kill me, as if to right your wrongs.